Okay, let's try this.
Hey, hey.
Hi. You talked about Lama Yoga practice this weekend and doing it on a consistent basis.
Hmm?
Question: if I'm doing like 9 breaths of Lama Yoga for a set, how many sets should I stack together?
You could do quite a bit.
Okay.
Traditionally we do like 49, but
Hmm.
the instructions to me from multiple teachers were, have at it. And
Okay.
one teacher was like, even if you're sitting there watching a movie, when it gets to a boring part, do a bunch of, do a bunch of the breaths. And like, yeah, I did that for a while, but uh it like I had to time like when to do it. Like I don't have the issue now, but back then, like it started to get hard to go outside because it was making me so sensitive. Like I couldn't go to the store because I could just feel, you just feel
Okay.
everything and it just felt uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I don't have that issue. So if that issue does arise for you,
Back off.
you back off, but there's this thing, because even we're going to be discussing it both in Plant Prana Circle and in the Astara Circle. Is there's levels or degrees of Lama Yoga, and there's like kind of stages that you're trying to like develop or accomplish. And one of them is, you go through and you're doing the Lama Yoga breath, and then you do start to feel kind of mm, I, you could say like tension in the environment. You could just feel, you basically just kind of feel everything that's like chaotic. Like at first your mind goes, oh, nothing's ever chaotic, everything's fine. And then you start quieting everything down. You go, that's chaotic, that's chaotic, that's chaotic. And it's not necessarily you, it's just somebody's being weird, this is going on, this is unresolved, this is, it's just like this list. And
Mhm.
our
Yeah.
body unconsciously reacts to these things because it tries to like establish a kind of order. And so like if you think about a lot of what feng shui is, people have like, oh, this does this and this does that and this element does this and this element does that. Yeah, that's true. But really, what it's trying to do is minimize chaos in the environment so that your Ming Min doesn't really overactivate. And so,
Mhm.
because your Ming Min overactivates to establish order whenever there's chaos in the environment, right? So,
Yeah.
one of the deeper levels of Dion is that you have an increase of sustained awareness, and then you become aware of these things in the environment, and you relax into them. Like you kind of can put your awareness on it. And it's how like we do the situational awareness. It's like taking that to another degree where you
Yeah.
go, okay, that situation's a little, even if there's no conflict, it's like that person's being a little judgy, that person's being a little that person's being a little pushy, that whatever it is. And you just like you're almost like allowing it to be. You're relaxing into it. And you go to the next situation, you relax into it, and you do the next one, you relax into it. And all of a sudden, you notice everything feels a lot more peaceful. And as you do that, it's like it's a phase of Lama Yoga or the turtle breath, and like a deeper, once you hit that, you go to this deeper place where not only are you just allowing things to be, because like I use that word because when we try to like go, oh, I need to stabilize this, I need to get away from this, I need to release this, it's like it still kind of controls you. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
situation is like having too big of an influence on you, and it's just like, okay, these people are being a jerk to me, I'll just sit with that. Like, you just sit with all these things. And so then at some point, the next level is the back heart becomes more activated, and it perceives these things, it transmutes these things, and then it moves the information up to the mind, especially the intuitive mind, to where it becomes easier to make the adjustments when you're dealing with people like this, because you're a lot more aware, a lot more present, but it becomes a lot less personal, like, because
Mhm.
you've transmuted some of it. It's it, it's like it diminishes the sting, that
Yeah.
phase. They call it, in Kabbalistic practices, they call it the loving embrace of the mother. Like when you get through that first phase, you're kind of dealing with, mm, authority is not the right word, but sometimes, like, it's like how we think about authority logically is like, oh, that person has authority over me, or da 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 da. Sometimes authority is, there's a group of people at work that are just dumb. You know what I mean? Like, the group, because of their numbers, has a kind of authority over you, where you're like, I have to deal with these people because they're all being obnoxious, and they're being not very bright, and they're doing these things. And so it doesn't mean that they're telling you what to do, but there is a thing where you have to deal with them. And so in that first
I've had
phase where you're
those.
kind
Yeah.
of, yeah, we all have them. Like, it's whatever it is. Like, it's, even just having your to-do list is, part of that. And so, trying to remember what they call that. I want to say they refer to that in Kabbalistic teachings as the rod of Aaron. It's like a staff that has to do with authority, but Aaron also has to do with intuition and prophecy and all these things. And so by being able to be like kind of non-reactive and relax into those things, and you're just allowing them to be, you kind of take their power away. Like, that is literally the rod of Aaron.
Mhm.
You're taking, it's like you're taking the power back, kind of. And then from there
Mhm.
um you sit with this loving embrace of the mother, and it's kind of a transmutation process, and it's illuminating the mind in a way that it makes you more intuitive, like you have like a greater depth perception. And then in that, just in those two steps, as the heart activates, just that starts to dissipate karma, like just that. And then
Mhm.
from there, you start, how we'd go through and sit with our awareness on the spine, is that is your ability then to start regenerating in these situations. Like, how do I adjust, how do I adapt, how do I shift these things when they're happening, like how do I grow, how do I move around these obstacles. And then eventually you start bringing light into the situation. So there's like these kind of five like phases. And um, at first, when you're doing the breath and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this 49 times, you could say it's like you're getting used to it. Like, you're getting used to what it does to your body, you're getting used to how it shifts your body, you're getting used to how it shifts your mind, and the sensitivity that comes with it all. But like, after the body gets acclimated, it's kind of game on. Like, it starts to be like, when I really want to work this, I'm going to work it. And it doesn't mean you do it all the time, but like, if there's like, I have 3 or 4 days and I have some downtime, and you could go deep. You could go really deep. And so, I remember once saying to the guru, I was like, what if I did it 400 times? And he looked at me and he chuckled and he goes, yeah, go ahead, have at it. And the next he goes, did you get up to 400? And I was like, no. But I think I got up to like, I lost count, but I was probably at like 2 or 250 or something. And, I didn't do a lot that weekend. It puts you like a little bit in another place. And so you almost have to plan, like I'm not going to be doing logical things for a few days. And the other thing is it makes you a little sleepy, it makes you a little tired. Just because you're deeper in rest and repair, you're deeper in intuitive thought than normal. And so if the body is a little worn down, then you'll get a little bit more tired. But usually what happens when you come out of it is you feel more revitalized and more refreshed than you did, prior. I always find that I feel like the word would be like exuberant or something, like I feel like uplifted or kind of happy and like very expressive in it.
Mhm.
Versus just like, oh, I feel a little better. Like it's almost like puts a little pep in your step or something. And so I would play with it. Like I would push the envelope a little bit, but if you're really going to push it, just be prepared for like, okay, for the next day or two, salt baths and naps. That's what it's about. And then after a while, you'll kind of get the hang of this is what we're going to do. And so this is actually it's part of the medulla and the vagus nerve class is to, you're basically working this holy name by going through and doing this. And it's about this sounds weird, but
Oh, I'm down with weird. I grew up in
yeah,
the Berkeley area.
aren't we all? If you're on the Zoom, you're probably down with weird a little bit, a little bit, right? But it's not always a way that people look at it, but you could say that it aligns like an inner and an outer part of your energy body.
Mhm.
Like you have a nervous system that's very physical, but you also have like an inner nervous system that is very etheric. And it's like it aligns the different bodies, like the physical body, the etheric body, the emotional body, the mental body, the causal body. Sometimes when we're not assimilating energy very well or not healing at a very fast rate, or we have some emotion or some state that we're having a hard time shaking off, you could look at it as a bunch of different, like, a pattern or a condition or a system's not working well, which is all true. But on a deeper level, there's a lacking of alignment between the different bodies. And so the soul energy can't like grab hold or can't facilitate the healing process in whatever body is having the issue. And so by going through and working these aspects, you're to a very deep level, you're aligning the different bodies and you're changing your blood. You're shifting and changing your blood. And so I would encourage you to explore that. you
Okay.
know it's
So
one thing to go ahead.
let's say I'm on a crowded bus and there's lots of people around and I want to keep my weird factor somewhat under cover. And they don't want to go bouncing my head up and down.
Yeah.
Can I just move my eyes up and down in a case like that?
So what I would do there is, instead of worrying about the breath and all of that, so you're working the breath, right?
Mhm.
And then in between, you're working different aspects. So that first one where you're observing the environment, and it doesn't have to be an environment that is personal to you. Like, you could be out at the mall and you just go, okay,
Right.
I'm gonna sit with
Mhm.
the kids running around screaming, and the people doing this, and the person who just spilled their coffee, and you just kind of observe everything going on, and you
Right.
just keep relaxing into it. And so, like, in public, I would just do that. And I had a teacher that, when some of us would reach a certain stage, he would go, okay, I want you to be able to reach that state of expansion. I'm going to take you to a very special place. And he would take us to the DMV, like when people get their driver's license. And he is like, okay, you think you got inner peace? Let's see it. And it's like, because everybody's cranky, nobody wants to be there, everybody's all whatever, there's all kinds of stress there. And he was like, come on, call it up on a dime. Call it up on a dime. If you can do it here, you can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
And we'd all kind of complain about it, but when you start doing the practice where you go, okay, I'm relaxing into the person being cranky, I'm relaxing into those people shooting me dirty looks, I'm relaxing into how ridiculous this is, like, you just start going down the list, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're like, in that weird situation, you still can feel the peace or the divinity. And so, if you're out in situations where you want to do practice, but you don't want to be like, bobbing your head around and doing
Right.
whatever. Just either relax into everything that's going on, like just keep observing everything, like looking around, and keep relaxing into it. Like, you just keep awareness on your body, and you just keep relaxing into it, relaxing into it. Either that, or you keep your awareness on your back heart, and you're not even really trying to relax into it. It's like you're looking, but with your heart. It's your heart becomes almost like you're like a set of eyes, and
Mhm.
you're just looking, and you're not trying to breathe something into it or activate it. You're just, everything you look at, your awareness is just on your back heart. And things will happen. Things will definitely happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
The back heart thing sounds like really easy. It's way harder than it sounds. Like, it's way harder than it sounds. Really, the practice of Lama Yoga makes it easier, but it's not as easy as you would think. Because
okay.
you sit on, you go, oh, I could totally do that. And then, 30 seconds into it, you're like, squirrel. Okay, here I go again, squirrel. Your mind keeps bouncing off of it, to be able just to relax, be aware of your heart, and observe the surroundings. It takes practice. It takes a lot of practice.
Okay. Um, so in one of the Astara classes that I did with Astara lessons,
Mhm.
we were doing the turtle breath and keeping, and at the top of the turtle breath would put awareness on the ajna. Is there any advantage to
That's
doing that?
actually more the materialization breath, and
Yeah.
so the difference between the Lama Yoga with the turtle breath and then the materialization breath is the throat lock.
Mhm.
So I would do that after you do the work with the spine, because that is how you're physicalizing light into the environment.
Okay.
So, we practice them all of them, but like, really, when you're working these 5 aspects, you wait till the end to do the thing with the materialization breath. But yeah,
Okay.
when you come time to do that, you can totally do the thing with the ajna. But
Okay.
with the normal Lama Yoga and the turtle breath, not so much. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And just to comment upon detoxing the skin, I thought it was curious. You said green and red on the skin. I remember this picture that you showed us in a recent class about this lion that
Oh
had
yeah.
green limbs and these red
Yeah, yeah.
stars. That's really
We
interesting.
we are going to do that practice either the week before Christmas or a couple of days before Christmas. I
Oh,
have to sit and look at the schedule, but we're going to do a little thing with that.
oh, cool. I'm
Yeah,
in. Send me the email.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're just going to do like a little free, like maybe 3 hour or one day thing where
Yeah.
we kind of prep for the holidays.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Thanks. Have a great one.
So